I am Reed. I am 27, just an average dude. I've made tons of money mistakes in my 20s, and now I want to share everything I've learned to help you take control of your finances and your life. All right, let me tell you something that has been on my mind for a while now, and I think a lot of you might be able to relate. You know how when you first start getting into personal finance and trying to get your life together, you see all these guys online talking about how to make money, right? And you scroll through YouTube or Instagram or TikTok, and there's two kinds of people. There's the ones who are just chill, they relax, they don't T-flash anything in your face, they talk about building financial freedom for their family and being at peace and living life on their own terms. And then there is the other kind. The ones who come at you like, hey, you should listen to me because I made this much money this year, and look at my car, and look at my watch, and look at my penthouse, and I am way richer than you, so shut up and take my advice. And I gotta be honest, when I was younger, I used to look up to those guys. I used to think, man, if I could just get what they got, I'd be set, I'd be happy. I'd have made it. But here is the thing I've learned after years of making my own money mistakes and actually being around the stuff that these guys flex online. It is not going to make you happy. And I am not just saying that to sound deep or philosophical. I am saying it because I've seen it firsthand and I've lived it myself. Let me tell you a story. About 6 months ago, I was working remote and I had some free time. I reached out to my buddy who is an automotive detailer, and this guy is legit like the best I've ever seen. He had contracts with dealerships, not just any dealerships. I am talking Porsche dealerships, McLaren dealerships, Ferrari dealerships, like the real high-end stuff. And I hit him up. I was like, dude, I love cars. Sign me up if you need help. I am there. He said, meet me tomorrow. We were going to start cleaning cars, cheap money, but it was something I could do on the side. So I show up to this undisclosed location and there is like 10 McLarens sitting there. I am talking about 720s, S765 LT S Senna, S Speedtails. I was so excited, man. I was filming every single one I cleaned, sitting in them, taking pictures, going crazy. Like, bro, this is insane. My dream car, by the way, is a 911 GT3 RS. I don't care if it is the 991.2 or the 992.1. I just want a GT3 RS. That is the goal. And my buddy also had a contract with Porsche, so we pull up to his little spot near the Porsche dealership, and we re-cleaning 911 GT3 RSS. We re-cleaning Boxster, Spider, RS, S brand new cars, optioned out of their mind, crazy spec cars. First week I was there, I was like, this is amazing. I am cleaning my dream cars. This is the best thing ever. But here's where it gets real. After the 20th McLaren, bro, it is just a car. After 3 weeks of working with him, I stopped pulling out my phone. I stopped getting excited. I was like, okay, it is just a McLaren again. Whatever. Oh, it is just a McLaren Senna. Like we detailed Jeffree Star S McLaren Senna, the one with the Tiffany blue interior and Tiffany blue brakes on the black exterior. I cleaned that car. We did a 765 LT with full exposed blue carbon fiber. We did Speedtails, crazy cars. And after about 3 weeks of being surrounded by those cars every single day, you realize something. It is just another car. You lose that emotional value. You start looking at a 300K car the same way you look at a Toyota Camry. And what really got me was this one day we were cleaning this 2020 McLaren 720s that the dealership used to move parts back and forth between locations. It had 8,000 miles on it. And bro, the leather was falling apart, the Alcantara was trashed, the paint was scratched up, the thing looked like it had been through a war, and I sat there thinking this car is worth more than my house, and it is falling apart after 8,000 miles. You take a Toyota Camry with 8,000 miles, that thing is brand new, you could eat off the seats. But this McLaren, a supercar, a dream car for so many people, was already falling apart. And that moment really changed something in my head. And look, Don T, get me wrong, I still love cars. I still want to work hard enough to afford my 911 GT3 RS one day. But I am being real with you guys. I know myself. I am going to buy that 911. I am going to get my dream car. I am going to drive it like crazy for probably a week. And then after that week, it is going to sit in my garage and I am going to look at it and think, man, this doesn't make me as happy as I thought it would because I've done this before. I had a BMW 340i that I built up big turbo air suspension, fully built car. Once it was done, I was like, okay, what is next? Then I sold it and got a Tesla Model 3 Performance because I wanted something super fast off the line. Did like 20 launch controls into it, and then I was like, okay, what is next? You start to realize that when you put material value over everything else, you are always chasing the next thing. You are always chasing the next car, the next watch, the next dopamine hit. It never ends. And I see this everywhere. Now, I see guys my age who want to be millionaires, and I ask them why, and 9 times out of 10, they say, so I can buy this car, or I want this watch, or I want this iced out AP, or I want people to know who I am. And I am not trying to be that friend who kills the vibe. I encourage my friends to go after what they want, but deep down, I know that if they get that stuff, it is not going to make them happy. It is going to give them a high for like 24 hours, and then they're going to be looking for the next thing. And that is a dangerous cycle because you never feel satisfied. You never feel like you have enough. You just keep chasing and chasing and chasing until you realize you are exhausted, and you are still not happy. I think about all those millionaires and Hollywood people and superstar athletes we see on the news who are depressed and on drugs and can hold their lives together. And people look at them and say, how can they be depressed? They have everything. But it is because they put the wrong things first. They built their foundation on material stuff. And that is not something you can build a real life on. That is like building a house on sand. It looks good for a minute, but eventually it is going to crumble. So I started asking myself a different question. Instead of what do I want to buy, I started asking what actually makes me feel good, what makes me happy outside of stuff. And I realized it is the simple things, getting stronger physically, mentally, emotionally, solving problems. Working for a company that appreciates me and challenges me with new work every day, traveling and creating new experiences. Sitting in my backyard under the sun by the pool, just chilling family, knowing that I can provide for the people I love. That is what actually makes me happy. Not the cars, not the watches, not the shoes. I am a huge sneakerhead, by the way. I have like 50 pairs of shoes on my shopping list right now. But I know that if I bought all those shoes tomorrow, they just gonna sit in my room. I can only wear one pair at a time. They not gonna make me happy for more than a few days. And I think this is something a lot of people in our age group need to hear, because we constantly being sold this idea that more stuff equals more happiness. Social media is full of people flexing their supercars and their watches and their houses, and you only see the 10-minute highlight reel. You don't see the other 23 hours and 50 minutes of their day. You don't see the stress, the anxiety, the emptiness that comes with chasing material things. You just see the shiny object and you think that is the answer, but it is not. I remember when I was 20 years old, if you asked me what would make me happy, I would have said the most expensive car and the most expensive house. That is it. I had zero care for my emotional health, my mental health, my physical health. It was all about how much stuff can I stack. Now, 5 years later, I give you a completely different answer. Sure, I still want nice things. I want a nice house one day. I want a Porsche one day. I want a nice watch. But that is not why I am on this financial journey. That is not what motivates me. What motivates me is freedom. The freedom to live life on my own terms, the freedom to not stress about money, the freedom to support the people I love, the freedom to help others. And I gotta be honest about something. I used to be that guy who said if I had money, I would never donate it. I literally told my girlfriend that when I was younger, I swear to God, I said that. And now I have a completely different outlook. I wish I was rich enough to help so many people, because I know that even $1,000 in someone's pocket could change their whole world. And I wish I could be the person to supply that. Obviously, make sure it is going to the right place, but you get what I am saying. That shift in mindset didn't come from getting more stuff. It came from growing up and realizing that money is a tool, not a destination. Here is the truth that nobody wants to tell you. Money can buy experiences, and experiences can make you happy. Money can reduce stress, and stress reduction can make you happy. Money can give you options, and options can make you happy. But money itself, the actual dollars in your bank account, the cars in your garage, the watches on your wrist, those things are not happiness. They re-tools, they re-toys, they re-nice to have, but they not the point. And I think the people who figure this out early are the ones who end up actually happy. The ones who build their financial lives around freedom and peace and purpose instead of around impressing other people. Those are the people I look up to now. The guys on YouTube who are living modestly with their families, who are at peace, who have built financial freedom for themselves, and just look content, you can tell they not stressed, you can tell they reliving life day to day, enjoying their time. That is what I want. Not the stress of a 10K mortgage and a 500K car I can barely afford and a 60K watch. I am going to get tired of in a week. I am 27 now, and I've made less money in the past 3 years than I did before, but I am happier than I've ever been. And that is because I stopped chasing the wrong things. I started focusing on what actually matters, setting goals for myself that I can actually accomplish and that make me feel good, pushing myself to be 1% better every day even when nobody's watching. When 2025 started, I wrote down a bunch of goals and taped them to my door so every time I walk out I see them, and those goals aren't about buying stuff. They about becoming a better version of myself. So if you are watching this and you are in your 20s and you feel like you are stuck in that cycle of wanting more and more and never being satisfied, I hope this hits home for you. Sit down with yourself and really think about why you want money. Daydream about the car you want or the watch you want. Picture yourself in it, and then ask yourself when you lay your head down on that pillow at night, are you really going to be happy? Because I know myself. I will own a 911 GT3 RS one day. That is my goal. But I can also tell you right now, it is not going to make me happy for more than a week. It is going to give me that instant gratification of I did it. I worked my ass off and now I have my dream car. But after a month, I am probably just going to look at it and think, hey, it is just a car. Same with the watch, same with the shoes, same with everything. The stuff that actually lasts, the stuff that actually makes you happy is internal. It is the relationships you build, the person you become, the peace you find, the freedom you create for yourself. That is what this whole financial journey should be about. Not stacking material wins, but stacking internal ones, becoming a better person every single day, building a life that actually feels full instead of just looking full to people on the outside. Anyway, I kind of went on a rant there, so I apologize, but I hope some of you can take value out of this. If you thought about this stuff before, or if you are going through the same realization, let me know in the comments. I do love to hear your thoughts. Peace.